Good morning, all members. All members will please come to the floor. All members. All members, please come to the floor because the hour of convening have arrived. All members will please come to the floor and take their seats. Miss Clerk, will you please ring the bell? Well, good morning. Good to see you all. We're going to have the morning roll call. Morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify your presence in the chamber, and Mr. Clerk will unlock the machines. All members voted. All members voted. All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers, if you'll close the doors and keep them closed. Members, the leader found a phone that showed up, a cell phone. If you're missing one, it'll be right up here. Yeah, it's yours. Oh, no. Well, I don't need to be talking to the funeral home, I can tell you that much. Not for a long time, I hope. Thank you, members. I'm glad we solved that mystery. As is our custom, we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by our chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning, it's kind of a family affair, isn't it? I'll let the member talk about the family, but a great group of family members that he'll introduce down front. But our chaplain of the day will be introduced by the gentleman from the 72nd House District, and that's Representative David Huddleston. Representative Holston.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. Today's a very exciting day to me, to have the opportunity to introduce our chaplain of today. Today, I also have the privilege of introducing his family with us today. So we're honored to have his family. It's his wife, Elle, his mother, Fran, and his brothers, Jonathan and Stephen, this morning. So welcome to the house this morning. Pastor Daniel Moy serves as Student Ministry Director of Northside Methodist Church, where he is known for his strong biblical teaching, heart of discipleship, and commitment to community outreach. He is a graduate of Asbury Theological Seminary, an institution recognized for preparing pastors and leaders with deep grounding in Scripture and practical ministry. Daniel and his wife, Elle, are beginning their ministry journey in much of the same way as his parents did years ago. Daniel's parents founded Young Leaders International, a ministry dedicated to equipping and raising up the next generation of Christian leaders around the world. Notably, they also got their start in ministry at Northside Methodist Church, making Daniel and Elle's service there a meaningful continuation of that legacy. I have personally known Daniel since he was a young boy, and I've had the privilege of watching him grow into a young man and servant leader that he is today. Over the years, I have seen his heart for people, his faith, and his dedication to ministry develop into a calling he now is faithfully living out. It has been encouraging to watch the foundation laid in his youth grow into the ministry he is leading today. Colleagues, help me welcome Pastor Daniel Moy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. David. As he mentioned, I've known him for more than 10 years, and what I'll tell you about Mr. David is what you see is what you get, and what you see is a man of incredible integrity, and I'm so proud to call him my representative. My name is Daniel Moy, and I'm the Student Ministry Director at Northside United Methodist Church, and I grew up in the town of Carrollton, just 1 hour away. And one thing I noticed about growing up here in the South is that many people in this part of the world will at some point in their childhood be invited to participate in what I'm going to call a rite of passage. The rite of passage of asking Jesus into your heart. I still remember the day I asked Jesus into my heart. It was the easiest decision I ever made. Do you want to go to heaven? Do you want to live forever? Then all you've got to do is ask Jesus into your heart. And while that's a fairly straightforward decision, it's not necessarily an explicitly biblical one. The reality is, when Jesus calls his disciples, he actually calls them to something a bit more difficult. Look what it says in Matthew chapter 4, verse 18 to 22. While walking by the Sea of Galilee, Jesus saw two brothers, Simon, who is called Peter, and Andrew, his brother, casting a net into the sea, for they were fishermen. And he said to them, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." Immediately they left their nets and followed him. And going on from there, he saw two other brothers, James and John, in the boat with Zebedee, their father, mending their nets, and he called them. Immediately they left the boat and their father and followed him. Now that's the passage we're looking at today, and what I want to focus on from this passage is the invitation that Jesus extends. He doesn't look at Peter and say, "Peter, let down your nets and let me into your heart." No, the invitation Jesus extends is follow me. And this isn't just a one-off in this passage. This is an invitation from Jesus recorded over 20 times throughout the Gospels. And this is a much more difficult invitation to accept, in part because the invitation to follow Jesus messes up our plans. The invitation to accept Jesus into our hearts doesn't necessarily mess up our plans. When that option was first presented to me as a kid, the option to go to heaven after I died, I must admit I looked at my schedule and I was totally free. I said, "Hey Siri, what do I have on the schedule for after I die?" "Nothing? Okay, Crystal Sea, Streets of Gold. Sounds like as good an option as any. Already wasn't doing anything else, but follow me when?" Immediately, it says in the text. Immediately, it says a second time in the text. No, immediately doesn't work for me. While I don't have plans for my afterlife, I do have plans for next week, for next year, for the kingdom I want to build for myself, for the things that I want to do. Thanks for the offer, but that's not going to work. And yet, that is the offer. That is the invitation to follow Jesus in the here and now, to lay down your life in pursuit of a better way. The Proverbs say there is a way that seems right to man, but in the end, it leads to death. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. The Greek word for way being odos, which can also be translated road. Follow me along this road, Jesus says. I am the road that leads to life, both eternal life and life in the here and now. Both life for you personally and life for those around you. Life for your city, life for your district, life for your state, and life for the entire world. As I close, I want to share with you one personal story of how I have seen the way of Jesus lead to life. There was a man in my neighborhood who was in his late 80s, and I had many conversations with him, and I know that at some point in his life he did ask Jesus into his heart, but more than that, he was a man who had accepted the invitation to follow Jesus every day with his whole life. And I watched him faithfully walk that out, taking care of his wife through a stroke and cancer. I watched him take in strangers, care for the poor with the little he had, and I never heard him say a negative word about a single person. But possibly the most impactful story was one that his son shared at his 90th birthday last April. And that man's name was Felton. And when he was younger, he'd worked his way up to become the president of a community bank. And when the owner of the bank was ready to retire, he sold to a group from out of town. They came in and fired all the executive level employees, including the president, Felton Smith. And while this business strategy might work in a larger city, in a small town where business is built on relationships, it didn't go over well. And unsurprisingly, not much time later, the bank that had been a pillar of the community went out of business. And suddenly, the man that took Felton's job was out of a job himself. And his son shared that the very night Felton heard the news, he sat down at the dinner table and he said, "Tonight, we are going to pray for that man." His son indignantly said, "I'm not praying for him. That's the man that took your job." And steady, calm, kind as ever, he said, "Yes, we are," because he has a family of his own that he's got to take care of. No grudge, no resentment, just forgiveness. To me, Felton was my pops. That's who my grandpa was, a man that was committed to following the way of Jesus, and out of his relationship with Jesus, he saw the humanity and the image of God in every single person. You'll never hear his name on the news. This isn't a story where one act of kindness transformed an entire town or state or nation. It's just the story of one man whose life was fully transformed by Christ, and as he followed Jesus along the way, he was filled with life, and he brought life with him everywhere he went. And that's the promise that Jesus offers to all who would surrender and follow him, that as you follow him, you will be filled with life, and you will carry life with you wherever you go, as you go into a world that desperately needs self-sacrificing, Christ-empowered life. Would you all stand with me as I pray? Father, I thank you so much for this amazing group of men and women. I thank you for this diverse group of men and women. I thank you for the way that you have placed them in a position here to make decisions that impact the entire state. I pray that you would pour out an abundance of wisdom on their lives. I pray that you would pour out a blessing on them, a blessing on their family. I pray that you would give wisdom to their family. I pray that you would help them all to grow every single day in their love for you and their love for others. And I pray all these things in the name of Jesus. Amen. Amen. Would you join with me as we say the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amazing. Thank you. Hang on.
Doorkeepers, you may open the doors. Members, you may join Brother Daniel and his family in the South Ante room. thank him for his message today. Brother Daniel, great message, and thanks for that example. That's an example we can all follow. So we'll take some photos. Members, you can join Brother Daniel in the South Ante room. Members, our doctor of the day today is Dr. Deborah Martin, and she was invited to serve us today by Representative Esther Panich of the 51st House District. Thanks for Dr. Martin being here, and if you need Dr. Martin, you know where she is. Chairman Hilton, the chairman of the Committee on Information and Audits, is recognized. Chairman Hilton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Information Audits read the Journal of the previous legislative day, and we found it to be correct.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Hilton, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the Journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there objection to dispense with the reading of the Journal? Hearing none, the reading of the Journal is dispensed with. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the Journal? Hearing none, the Journal is confirmed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day?
Representative Station of the 104th moves following be establishes the order of business in the first part of the period unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? Hearing none, the resolution is adopted. Some members may want to know where we assign a bill, so if you'll keep it down a little bit, we would appreciate it. First reading of bills and resolutions, Mr. Clerk will read.
House Bill 1567 by Representative LaHood of the 175th, Cannon of the 172nd, Taylor of the 173rd, Dickey of the 134th, Ford of the 170th. Bill be titled an act to repeal an act to amend, consolidate, and supersede.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1568 by Representative Thomas of the 21st, Parsons of the 44th, Jones of the 47th, Jaspers of the 11th, Scoggins of the 14th, and others. The bill be titled an act to amend an act reincorporating and recreating the city of Woodstock.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1569 by Representative Santos of the 117th and Kahanian of the 81st. Bill be titled an act to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Municipal Court of the City of McDonough.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1570 by Representative Mathis of the 133rd. A bill be titled an act to amend an act creating the Cochran-Bleckley Airport Authority.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1571 by Representative Stevens of the 164th, Petrie of the 166th, Franklin of the 160th. The bill be titled an act to amend an act establishing the State Court of Bryan County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1572 by Representative Westbrook of the 163rd, Kelly the 16th, Tran of the 80th, Iowa the 50th, Roberts the 52nd. The bill be titled an act to amend Article 13 of Chapter 2 of Title 26 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to food service establishments.
Agriculture and Consumer Affairs.
House Bill 1573 by Representative Gaines of the 120th and Persinger of the 119th. Bill be titled an act to provide a homestead exemption from city of Statham ad valorem taxes for municipal purposes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1574 by Representative Donahue of the 31st, Smith of the 18th, Mathis of the 133rd, Petrie of the 166th, Clark of the 100th, and others. The bill be entitled an act to amend Article 15 of Chapter 6 of Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to serious traffic offenses.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 1575 by Representative Saints of the 180th and Corbett of the 174th. The bill be titled an act to amend an act to provide a homestead exemption from all city of Kingsland ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1576 by Representative Saints of the 180th. The bill be entitled an act to provide a homestead exemption from the city of Kingsland ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1577 by Representative Saints of the 180th. The bill be entitled an act to amend an act to provide a new charter for the city of Woodbine.
Intergovernmental coordination.
1578 by Representative Gaines of the 120th and Donahue the 31st. The bill be titled an act to amend an act to provide a new charter for the town of Arcade.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1579 by Representative Jackson of the 170th of the 165th, Westbrook of the 163rd, Gilliard of the 162nd, and Hitchens of the 161st. The bill be titled an act to amend an act amending the several acts relating to and incorporating the mayor and aldermen of the city of Savannah.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1580 by Representative Howley of the 116th, Douglas 78th, Santos of the 117th, Lewis Ward of the 115th, and Flournoy of the 74th. The bill be titled an act to amend an act creating the Henry County Airport Authority.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Resolution 1748 by Representative Clifton of the 131st, Persinger of the 119th, Gamble of the 15th, Fleming of the 114th, and Irwin of the 32nd. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Local Governmental Professional Contracting.
Special rules.
House Resolution 1749 by Representative Clifton of the 131st, Persinger of the 119th, New of the 40th, Camp of the 135th, Smith of the 18th, and others. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on the impact of multiplayer online gaming platforms.
Special rules.
House Resolution 1750 by Representative Taylor of the 173rd, LaHood of the 175th, Campbell of the 171st, Green of the 154th, Cannon of the 172nd. A resolution honoring the veterans of World War I and dedicating a bridge in their memory.
Transportation.
House Resolution 1751 by Representative Lewis Ward of the 115th, Hughley of the 141st, Green of the 154th, Wilkerson of the 38th, Powell of the 33rd. A resolution urging condominium associations and property owners associations.
Special rules.
House Resolution 1752 by Representative Astration of the 104th, Burns of the 159th, Persinger of the 119th, Gaines of the 120th, Hatchett of the 155th, and others. A resolution recognizing the Honorable Terry England and dedicating an intersection in his honor.
Members, I want you to pay attention where we assign House Resolution 1752 and who is going to honor. Mr. Clerk, if you will read that caption again.
House Resolution 1752 by Representative Astration of the 104th, Burns of the 159th, Persinger of the 119th, Gaines of the 120th, Hatchett of the 155th, and others. A resolution recognizing the Honorable Terry England and dedicating an intersection in his honor.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Transportation.
House Resolution 1753 by Representative Cox of the 28th, Barrett of the 24th, Jaspers of the 11th, McDonald of the 26th, Jones of the 25th, and others. A resolution urging the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners.
Special rules.
House Resolution 1754 by Representative Lupton of the 83rd, Ali of the 106th, Lim of the 98th. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Georgia Teacher Planning and Duty-Free Lunch.
Special rules.
House Resolution 1755 by Representative Anderson of the 10th, Williamson of the 112th, Chastain of the 7th, Cannon of the 172nd, Williams of the 148th. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Alternative Investments for Local Governments.
Special rules.
House Resolution 1788 by Representative Gisler of the 121st, Ali of the 106th, Bella of the 75th, Berry of the 56th, Park of the 107th, and others. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Responsible Use of Artificial Intelligence.
Special rules.
Senate Bill 619 by Senator Lucas of the 26th. A bill be titled an act to amend an act to reconstitute the Board of Education of Hancock County.
Intergovernmental coordination.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. Mr. Clerk will read.
House Bill 1548 by Representative Anderson of the 10th, a bill to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Municipal Court of the City of Clarksville. House Bill 1549 by Representative Anderson of the 10th and Irwin of the 32nd, a bill to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Municipal Court of the City of Cornelia. House Bill 1550 by Representative Dickey of the 134th and Ballard of the 147th, a bill to amend an act providing a new charter for the City of Byron. House Bill 1551 by Representative Jaspers of the 11th, a bill to amend an act providing a homestead exemption from all Pickens County School District ad valorem taxes for educational purposes. House Bill 1552 by Representative Smith of the 18th, a bill to provide homestead exemption from the City of Bremen Independent School District ad valorem taxes for educational purposes. House Bill 1553 by Representative Bernal of the 77th, Scott of the 76th, Neal of the 79th, a bill to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Municipal Court of the City of Forest Park. House Bill 1554 by Representative Howard of the 71st, New of the 40th, Huddleston of the 72nd, and Smith of the 18th, the bill relating to insurance. House Bill 1555 by Representative Ballard of the 147th, and Stinson of the 150th, the bill to amend an act providing a new charter for the City of Fort Valley. House Bill 1556 by Representative Osteen of the 169th, the bill to provide a new charter for the City of Nichols. House Bill 1557 by Representative Mathiak of the 82nd, Bonner of the 73rd, Bazemore of the 69th, and Jackson of the 68th, a bill to amend an act to provide for the recreation of the Board of Elections of Fayette County. House Bill 1558 by Representative Glaze of the 67th and Dawson of the 65th, a bill to provide a homestead exemption from City of Palmetto ad valorem taxes for municipal purposes. House Bill 1559 by Representative Glaze of the 67th and Dawson of the 65th, a bill to amend an act to provide a new charter for the City of Palmetto. House Bill 1560 by Representative Burns of the 159th and Hitchens of the 161st, a bill to authorize the City of Springfield to exercise all redevelopment and other powers provided under the Redevelopment Powers Law. House Bill 1561 by Representative Ali of the 106th, Alali of the 59th, Gisler of the 121st, Berry of the 56th, and Stevens of the 164th, a bill relating to education. House Bill 1562 by Representative Camp of the 135th, a bill to amend an act providing a homestead exemption from all Pike County ad valorem taxes for county purposes. House Bill 1563 by Representative Camp of the 135th, a bill to amend an act providing a homestead exemption from Pike County ad valorem taxes for county purposes. House Bill 1564 by Representative Yerto of the 152nd, a bill to provide a homestead exemption from Lee County School District ad valorem taxes for educational purposes. House Bill 1565 by Representative Yerto of the 152nd, a bill to provide a homestead exemption from Lee County School District ad valorem taxes for educational purposes. House Bill 1566 by Representative Burchett of the 176th, a bill to provide a homestead exemption from Ware County School District ad valorem taxes for educational purposes. House Resolution 1701 by Representative Chastain of the 7th, Jaspers of the 11th, Cox of the 28th, Gunter of the 8th, a resolution honoring the lives of Howell and Jane Teasley and dedicating an intersection in their memory. House Resolution 1702 by Representative Davis of the 87th, Scott of the 76th, Bell of the 75th, Jackson of the 68th, and Griffin of the 149th. A resolution urging the protection of the constitutional conscience, rule of law, lawful exercise of a conscientious objection. House Resolution 1703 by Representative Gunter of the 8th, Smith of the 18th, Leverett of the 123rd, Panitch of the 51st, Holcomb of the 101st, and others. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Criminal Post-Conviction Litigation. House Resolution 1704 by Representative Stinson of the 150th, a resolution creating the House Study Committee on Dangerous Animal Attacks and Animal Control Resources in Rural Georgia. House Resolution 1705 by Representative Bazemore of the 69th, McQueen of the 61st, Jackson of the 68th, Glaze of the 67th, Schofield of the 63rd, a resolution recognizing State Representative Roger Bruce and dedicating an intersection in his honor. House Resolution 1706 by Representative Jaspers of the 11th, a resolution honoring the life of Mr. Jerry Barnes, dedicating a road in his memory. House Resolution 1707 by Representative Gunter of the 8th, Powell of the 33rd, Irwin of the 32nd, Dubnick of the 29th, Williams of the 148th, and others. A resolution encouraging the creation of the Georgia Legislative Golf Caucus. House Resolution 1708 by Representative Fleming of the 114th, a resolution honoring the life of Mr. William Donaldson Don Ballard and dedicating a road in his memory. House Resolution 1709 by Representative Gilliard of the 162nd, Stevens of the 164th, Jackson of the 165th, and Petrie of the 166th. A resolution recognizing Miss Mary Davis and dedicating an intersection in her honor. House Resolution 1747 by Representative Townsend of the 179th, a resolution creating the House Study Committee on Restoring Georgia's Saltwater Ecosystems. Senate Bill 609 by Senator Jackson of the 41st, Harrell of the 40th, Mangum of the 55th, Parent of the 44th. A bill to amend an act to create and establish in DeKalb County districts from which the members of the DeKalb County Board of Education shall be elected. Senate Bill 618 by Senator Parent of the 44th, a bill to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Municipal Court of the City of Decatur through second readers. Thank you.
Reports of standing committees. Mr. Clerk will read.
Representative Victor Anderson of the 10th District, Chairman of the Committee on Governmental Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Governmental Affairs has had under its consideration the following bills of the Senate. It has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 284 do pass by committee substitute. Senate Bill 593 do pass, respectfully submitted. Representative Victor Anderson of the 10th District, Chairman. Representative Chuck Martin of the 49th District, Chairman of the Committee on Higher Education, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Higher Education has had under its consideration the following bill of the Senate, and has instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 400 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Chuck Martin of the 49th District, Chairman. Representative Lauren McDonald of the 26th District, Chairman of the Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination has had under its consideration the following bills of the House. It's instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendation. House Bill 1339 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Lauren McDonald of the 26th District, Chairman. Representative Smith of the 18th District, Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary Non-Civil, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary Non-Civils had under its consideration the following bills of the Senate. It has instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 604 do pass. Senate Bill 605 do pass. Senate Bill 547 do pass. Senate Bill 268, due pass by substitute. Senate Bill 499, due pass by substitute. Senate Bill 27, due pass by substitute. Senate Bill 443, due pass. Senate Bill 587, due pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Smith of the 18th District, Chairman. Representative Lynn Smith of the 70th District, Chairman of the Committee on Natural Resources and Environment, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Natural Resources and Environment has under its consideration following bills of the Senate. He's instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 447, due pass by substitute. Senate Bill 478, due pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Lynn Smith of the 70th District, Chairman. Representative Crowe of the 118th District, Chairman of the Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Public Safety and Homeland Security has had under its consideration the following bills of the Senate. It has instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 433, due pass. Senate Bill 565, due pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Crowe of the 118th District, Chairman. Representative Jones of the 25th District, Chairman of the Committee on Technology and Infrastructure Innovation, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Technology and Infrastructure Innovation has had under its consideration following bills of the House and Senate. It's instructed me to report same back to the House the following recommendations. Senate Bill 594, due pass by committee substitute. House Resolution 1371, due pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Jones of the 25th District, Chairman. That completes the reading of the reports of standing committees.
All members, please come to the floor. We do have a local calendar this morning. All members will come to the floor. All members come to the floor. We have third reading and passage of the uncontested local bills on the local calendar. If there's no objection, we will vote on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. We have one bill on the local calendar. Hearing no objection is so ordered. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to the local, will you read the local calendar, excuse me. Mr. Clerk.
House Bill 1339 by Representative Hughley, the 141st, Columbus, Muskogee County.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill on the local calendar will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? All members voted. Have all members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of the local calendar, the yeas are 130, the nays are 30. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Members, we have a lot of guests in the gallery today, and we want to recognize them, but we're going to do something else first. As y'all all know, we have a number of members who have made difficult decisions to not return to this body. And we heard from one of them yesterday, our own Representative McLean. We're going to hear from another one who's very special to me personally, very special to our state. She has her son here with her. Welcome, Kevin. And some good friends from the great city of Savannah and the state of Chatham. We're going to welcome the former mayor of the city of Savannah, State Representative Edna Jackson. Representative Jackson, I think maybe you want to stay where you're engaged in that conversation back there. She may have changed her mind, I'm not sure. Members, if you'll come to the floor. As you all know, we've had some remarks from several members about their great service to our state and to the people of our state and to their local communities. And we're going to do that same thing again today. The lady's going to be recognized. This is Representative Edna Jackson, who served this state and her community with great distinction and honor over a number of years. And we appreciate her service and her friendship. She's not going anywhere. She's going to be around, and she'll still be working hard for the great people in Chatham County and Savannah. So if you will, I'm not going to let you go yet. There are conversations that need to occur besides this one. You need to take it to the anteroom. Representative Jackson is recognized to speak to the House.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hi, everybody. You don't know how wonderful you look here today and how excited I am today. When you walk into a building and you see your friends that you're talking to on a telephone, supposedly in Savannah, and you walk into the building and you see the same group right here to helping to just giving me hi, because they are truly my friends. When I first came here to Atlanta to replace Mickey Stevens, who was my high school, elementary school, college graduate, because of his demise. And they asked me if I would come and serve in this position. I told Al Scott I will only do it for the end of the term, and neither one of us could count. But it's great. We had to work together as a team. And as you listen to the words that I want to say today, my first one is thank you. Thank you very, very much for allowing me to work with all of you during this time. I didn't know what I was going to say because I talk a long time, and y'all know that. But I am going to be a matter of time. Many of you, I'm going to give you the names of my friends. But I'll tell you, the person that I've talked about the most up here is my son. My son is here today. Kevin, stand up. Come on. Well, I'm so proud of him because he's vice president at Gulfstream. So you know I'm very proud of him. This is him, one of the vice presidents of Gulfstream. I was born in Savannah, Georgia in 1944, raised by my grandmother and my mom. Her name, my grandmother, was Sadie Branch. My mother was Georgia Dillard. I had one sister, Margie, that took care of me, and I fought for her. Why did I say it like that? Because my sister was a little plump, and people would tease her. So therefore, I just beat them up. My sister was a high school teacher in Tampa, Florida. I am a member of St. Philip AME Church, and we've had all the AMEs here just recently. I went to school in Savannah, Georgia, Florence Elementary, Kyler, Junior High, and Alfred Ely Beach. From there, I met some very, very, very wonderful people. As you've heard me talk about, was my civil rights days. I joined NAACP at the age of 9 because we were taught and we were told all of the injustices that were being done to African Americans back in the day. As a result of that, someone asked me just the other night, how did you learn to talk like you turned? My grandmama in the switch, my mama in the switch, and my teachers, your enunciation, and all of that. So I have to give due to the people who have held me together. I didn't know what I wanted to talk about, and Shirley and I were talking this morning, and I didn't know she was on her way here. But I met a group of people. They would be considered elderly people. And they always had me out there saying a speech, memorizing different things. And that is how I got my voice. But not only that, during those days, we had a youth council. Al, you know it, NAACP Youth Council. And in 1960, we started the sit-in movement in the city of Savannah. As a result of that, my life just burst open because my leaders, the people that taught me, followed me, corrected me, put me on the road to fight for the injustices that were taking place in Savannah, Georgia. We had a youth council of over 1,000 young people. We sat in, waited in at Tybee Island because we couldn't go on Tybee Island. Not only did we do that, we still go and reenact all of that now. So I waited in Tybee. My training continued under Wesley Wallace Law, our Judge Eugene Gaston, Mercedes Wright Honor, Arnold, and many, many more that said you're going to be somebody. As a result of that, I've always stuck with NAACP. It gave me an opportunity, and some of you may not know these names, to work for people like Roy Wilkins, who was the head of the NAACP. I worked with people like Thurgood Marshall. And when I say I worked, because they took us as young people to go out and to correct these injustices. I mean, some of you have heard me talk about places I worked. I worked in Savannah, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, on Hunter Street, Ruby Hurley, Al, you know who I'm talking about. I worked in Mississippi, where one day we were coming in from Alabama, and they had just killed an African American on the streets. So I worked in Jackson, Mississippi. At the age of 18, I carried a group of young people from Tampa, Florida, to the March on Washington. Now, you would think I would be scared, but I guess I wasn't. But we took, if you hear me, an integrated group of young people to the March on Washington. I didn't stop there. I went from there when they kicked NAACP out of the state of Alabama. We won that vote. And I lived in Birmingham reorganizing NAACP and youth council members. I went on from there to work the entire state of Florida, Live Oak, Florida, Pahokee, Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, and so many places, because we had to fight for what you believe in. We marched, we taught young people, and we were young people, but we were always protected. I walked, I ran, but I believed. From there, I never wanted to be an elected official, but I was selected by one of the former African-American mayors to go and run. I told him no, I helped him get elected, Floyd Adams. But some kind of way I was talked in to running as a member of the delegation. I won. From there, we changed mayors again. Mayor Floyd Adams. He became the mayor of Savannah, Georgia, still living. And we came together as a people. Savannah was a different kind of city because Savannah was a city that believed that all people should come together and they should fight for what they believe in together. Not black, not white, Jews, what have you. We worked together so that we could always be wonderful partners. I waited in Tybee, and Tybee Island, you know, we couldn't go out there then. But wait in Tybee, brown skins waited in Tybee. I went to jail. But that's okay, I did it for a good cause. When I look at my schedule here, and I was living in Birmingham, we participated in all of the marches, all the way to Florida. Why am I telling you this story? Because I know that if there has been times, Mr. Chairman, I apologize too, because there were times when I feel that we that sit in these hollowed walls, that we do not realize what we have here together. Calvin Smyrie. We've always fought for our African American schools. And y'all know when I walked in the door, I said, we need some money. I still say that. I may be leaving, but my voice can still be heard. As I look at the frustration sometimes that I have here in this room, when we see that we cannot be kind to each other, it makes me say, what's wrong with us? As members of this building, we are here to serve the what? The people. We're here to correct those things. Am I correct? Even though we may not get a chance to do it all at one time, we can still be kind to each other. I hate it sometimes when we come in this hallway and we are nasty to each other. We don't know that we maybe all can. You don't know that. But what I have learned is that now we can come together and fight for those things that is going to make these United States of America the home of the brave. We are here because we have to show that we are people of people of people. If there is one thing, and I know the chairman, Chairman, I need to hush, and okay, just a minute. Young people today, I want you to know that as I look at you and I look at the young people that are getting out there again, continue the fight. We have a long ways to go. But in doing that, let us always be kind to each other. I'm watching. We have to change our young people. We have to change our older people too, because this building represents so much to the people of Georgia. This place says to me, I remember we couldn't come, but my God, I can come now. I've seen us in some instances come together. I see us talking to each other. Y'all, I'm going to miss y'all. I really am. I'm really going to miss you. But the one thing that I'm going to be happy about when I see us coming together and we are talking to each other and we are not mistreating each other, that can be a glorious day here in these United States of America. I ask you, I said I was going to run, but no. I'm going to be here, not in here, because I decided I was not going to run. But you can be my voice. You can be the voice of all of the people here. You can be the voice of the people. That is why we are here. We are the voices of the people. Everyone that's sitting in this room, join me. Join me, because no matter what you think, we are sisters and brothers. So I say to you, thank you. Thank you for affording me this opportunity to come and say, to you, life goes on. And we are the brothers and the sisters. Mr. Chairman, I want you to know, I appreciate you. I appreciate all. When I can come down this aisle and they say, they know when I'm coming. They know when I'm coming because we are helping each other. Do you think that I can come up here next year this time to visit and we can say, yeah, that's my brother, that's my sister. That is how we must think. I was going to say so much more, but I can't, because I know That's my friend back there. My son down here. But thank you for affording me this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you, and remember that we can do positive instead of negatives. We can help people that may need a little bit more help. And you can become the sisters and the brothers. So my friends know what to do. You know, they tell me when to shut up. But that's all right, too, because they are my friends. I can name every one of them. One is the mama. I named all of them because they try and tell me what to do. Please, though, prayer. Let us continue to pray. We pray every day in this chamber. And then there are times we pray, and then what happens? We hate each other. Let's correct that, y'all. I'll come back up here just to say hi. But y'all, we are all God's children. And hopefully, as we move about here, we will continue to do that. Take my word, it is worth it. It is better for us to get along than for us to not get along. Thank you again for allowing me to say, I'm happy that I'm leaving. But guess what? I can come back.
You
So I want
can come back. We're going to welcome you back as well.
Thank
and
you,
we're going to
bye.
miss you. I can assure you of that.
But thank you. I have one more phrase. Chatham County has the best delegation in this house. All right, can I come down now? Okay, thank you. Yes.
Members, excuse me, thank you, Representative Edna Jackson, for your service to mankind. Thank you for your contribution to this House and to so many members of this House who will certainly understand what you've said, and I hope we will abide by what you said. So thank you for your message, and thank you for your service, not your politics, because we're not politicians, you're public servants, and you certainly have demonstrated that in your career. Thank you so much. Members, we'll move on with some morning orders. If you want to join Representative Jackson and her family and Kevin, her son, in that South Annie room. Kevin, would you bring him this way? Would you bring your mom up and let's get a photo? Do you mind with you? I'm not having much luck with her either, so don't worry about that. It'll be fine. And we'll get it done. Members, we have, wow. We have a little over 20 morning orders. I think that qualifies to be a slew. So I'm going to ask you all to hold it to a minute or less. 1 minute or less, so you don't encroach on the other members and their time. But we need to recognize our friends in the gallery. Representative Lisa Campbell. Representative Digne and Okoye are on deck. Representative Digne, Representative Digne, you're on deck. That means next. You haven't been watching much baseball, have you? Representative Campbell, the ladies recognize Representative Campbell, and some friends.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, I am proud to host the Georgia Ovarian Cancer Alliance, and I welcome all who are supportive of advancing the work of the Georgia Ovarian Cancer Alliance to come and stand. Did you know that ovarian cancer is a significant health issue in Georgia, with more than 500 new cases and 350 deaths reported annually? The disease, which is the 6th most common cancer in Georgia, women, and it predominantly affects those over 60. It occurs in 1 in 87 women, and unfortunately is the deadliest of all gynecological cancers. This is personal to me. My mother, Gail, is going on year 10 of her ovarian cancer survival experience. Each day is gifted to us and an ongoing challenge, but being with the women and families who've experienced ovarian cancer and listening to their stories is sobering but also uplifting. Join us today in recognizing their mission to empower individuals, families, healthcare providers with the knowledge that leads to earlier detection and improved outcomes for communities. Special thank you to Kimberly Emery, Doug Barron, and oncologist Dr. Amy Carroll, and my dear friend Pam Harrison, survivors and spirit lifters for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the work. Thanks for bringing that up and make sure that is a very important issue. Representative Digne, and Okoye, and Representative Santos, you're on deck.
And the Gwinnett delegation, please.
Gwinnett delegation, please.
Where's Gabe?
We have a few more coming, sir. Y'all take your time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I rise today for a morning order to recognize 3 meaningful resolutions before this body. House Resolution 1772, 1613, 1128. Each of these resolutions reflects the very best of Georgia's service, excellence, and a commitment to community. House Resolution 1772 recognizes Miss Laura Drake, please rise, who is retiring after 18 years of service to the Southeast Gwinnett Cooperative Ministry, whose exemplary work as director of the co-op, supporting our families and served many needs, the community, as a steward who contributed passionately to the needs of many. Thank you for your service. House Resolution 1613 recognizes Chestnut Grove Baptist Church on its 175th anniversary that was celebrated last year. And we have here Pastor Dr. Charles Alexander, his daughter Amelia, and Deacon Edmund. Please stand, let's recognize them. And the third resolution is for the city of Grayson. And we have the mayor, the city council members, Mayor Allison Wilkerson, city council members, please stand. 125 years will be celebrated this April. And we also have Councilwoman Rochelle Wright, who is the first African-American elected to the City Council of Grayson. Thank you all. Thank you all for your service. Mr. Speaker, I yield the well. Thank you. And
Great.
We'll be down in the ante-room for pictures.
Great recognition. When y'all get ready, you can come down to that South Ante room and have some photos. 175 years, 125 years, great history, great community, and great city, Grayson. Thank y'all. We appreciate you all for being here. You have a great delegation as well. Representative Santos and Representative Evans, you would be on deck. Representative Stacey Evans, Representative Santos is recognized. And friends, at least one. There's another one.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Today I rise to recognize the McDonough High School seniors who are joining us in the gallery. All of you that are enrolled in government courses are already taking steps towards becoming informed, engaged citizens. I want to especially thank the incredible teachers that have joined them here today: Dr. Natasha Simpson, Mr. Ferguson, Mr. Adams, and Ms. Morris, who have challenged and inspired you to think critically and lead with purpose. Students, you are not just among the best in our state. You are the future leaders, voices, and change makers. Our communities will depend on you. The dedication and excellence that you've shown have brought you here today. But your journey is just beginning. Dream boldly, lead courageously, and never underestimate that the impact you can make is great. We are proud of you, we believe in you, and we are excited for all that lies ahead. Welcome to your house. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well. Oh, if you're here, please rise to be recognized. I apologize. Are you in the gallery? Thank you. Yay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Thank you all for being here. Great group, large group. Good to have you. Representative Evans and Representative Stinson, you're on deck. Representative Stacey Evans.
Good morning.
Lady will suspend just for a moment. I didn't. Members, if you'll join me in standing with Representative Evans. Please give the lady in the well your attention, please, and your respect. Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and good morning, colleagues. It's my honor this morning to honor a beloved friend to many, Tasso Knight. He was a longtime labor leader, party leader, friend, and mentor to so many, particularly young people who were coming up in the Democratic Party back in the late 90s and early 2000s. And he passed away in October, and wanted to honor him this morning and share a few words. Whereas Tasso Knight was born in 1953 in Atlanta, Georgia, whereas his exemplary legacy of service to this state began with his tenure as a technician with Southern Bell, where he installed thousands of telephone lines across metro Atlanta. Whereas while at Southern Bell, he became a member and job steward of the Communication Workers of America, Local 3204, and made his first of many trips to the state capitol to lobby on behalf of working families. Whereas in recognition of his immense skills, talent, and dedication to lobbying efforts as a job steward, Tasso Knight was named the political director for CWA District 3 in Atlanta, becoming the de facto leader of the labor lobby here at the state capitol. Whereas he was hired thereafter as the political director of the Georgia AFL-CIO, rising under the leadership of President Richard Ray. He worked tirelessly to give a voice to and protect the rights of union members and workers across this state. Whereas he additionally traveled throughout Georgia to assist in continuing education seminars and organize support for labor issues, mentored many future labor lobbyists, including David Pilgrim and Tony Tilley, and many future elected officials, government staffers, and political activists. He was a constant promoter and supporter of young people involved in the political process. He was united in love and marriage to his wife, Angela, and was blessed with a wonderful son, Wayne, daughter-in-law, Jessica, and 3 wonderful grandchildren, Chase, Logan, and Ava, all of whom loved their visits to the state capitol with him. Whereas a compassionate and generous man, Tasso Knight will long be remembered for his love of family, friendship, and community, and will be missed by all those who had the great fortune of knowing him. I would like to acknowledge that his bride, Angela, is watching us online from Arizona, and I also want to acknowledge former AFL-CIO Chairman Charlie Fleming and several labor leaders who have joined us in the gallery. If they would stand and let us acknowledge them and their love for Tasso. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you would join me in a moment of silence to honor a great man, Tasso Knight. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Life well lived, very impactful. Thank you for honoring the family. Now we're continued condolences and prayers for his wife. Thanks for joining us online today. Representative Stinson and some friends.
Yes, all the blue and gold, come on down. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Blue and gold, come on down.
Come on, this is a
Lady
special day here at this Georgia State Capitol. You all know why it's so special? Because it's the Fort Valley State University Day at the Georgia State Capitol. Yes, Fort Valley State University celebrated 130 years of unapologetic excellence, marking a major milestone in its legacy of education, leadership, and community impact. At this moment, I'd like to acknowledge the leader of this outstanding institution. We thank him for his years of dedicated service to the Fort Valley community and for guiding the next generation of change makers, Dr. Paul Jones. We also recognize the Fort Valley State University alumni serving in this chamber today, most notably our former colleague, Representative Calvin Smyrie, the long-standing dean of the House and a proud Wildcat. And we have another proud Wildcat right here, Dr. Jones.
Thank you, Speaker. I want to take this time as a 1994 graduate of the Fort Valley State University to recognize our wonderful guests that are here in the gallery. We have our students, we have alumni, we have our royal court, as well as all of our faculty and friends. Can you please stand if you are with the Fort Valley State University as we welcome you to your house. And with that, Speaker, we yield the well.
Welcome, Fort Valley State. Welcome, Mr. President. We're glad to have you as well. Representative Smyrie, did you graduate from Fort Valley State? That's been a day or two ago. All right. Welcome. We're glad to have all of y'all. Thanks for being. We appreciate Fort Valley State and the impact it's having on our state. Representative Alexandra.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have a group here this morning. The Douglas County Youth Commission is a student leadership and enrichment program for high school students in Douglas County. The program features county-developed interactive curriculum led by Douglas County government and community leaders, covering government operations, law, community planning, economic development, community arts, and more. The Youth Commission is part of the Georgia Civic Awareness Program for students, created by the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia to increase civic involvement and awareness among youth and inspire the next generation of civic leaders. Please stand and be recognized in the gallery. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Welcome. Good to have y'all. Chairman Martin, the gentleman is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand today to recognize a teacher from Milton High School, Jill Doss Schindler, and a group from Milton. If y'all would stand, I don't know if you're still with us up there, but the teacher has brought down 6 or 7 government students from Milton High School, and we really appreciate them coming down today. They're over to my left here, and we really appreciate you guys and look for a visit with you later this morning. Thank you for coming down, and go Eagles.
Representative Jordan Ridley and GSU alums. Is that Georgia State? I thought that was a real GSU, Georgia Southern. I was going to come down there if it was, but since it's not, all Georgia State folks, great university in our state, does great work. All alumni have joined Representative Jordan Ridley. I think we're pretty close. Great group. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I think Georgia State is the real GSU. But today we have the Andrew Young School of Policy from Georgia State here in the gallery. The dean and his leadership team are here, and if they would please stand. We have a resolution today to recognize for 2026 marks the 30th anniversary of the Andrew Young School of Policy Studies, providing an opportunity to recognize its enduring contributions to public service, education, policy research, economic development, and community advancement across the state. Thank you guys for being here today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Members, we have a former member of this house. In fact, he was the dean of this house and still is a dear friend. His portrait graces the outside of this building, this wall on the outside as you come into the house. You cannot help but see our dear friend and a great Georgian, former representative and held every position in this body, Representative Calvin Smyrie. Let's make him welcome. Representative Schofield. There she is. And friends.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, I rise to recognize an amazing group of advocates here for the Georgia Oral Health Advocacy Day. Partners with Just Youth, Partner for Southern Equity, Sowego Rising, One Talent, Andrew Young YMCA, will you please stand and be recognized, and thank you for all the amazing work. They're up in the gallery. You please stand and let us recognize you. Oh, there's one. There's a couple. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Perfect timing. Great organization, YMCA. Thanks for being here and thanks for recognizing them. Representative David Clark, the gentleman is recognized. Now, this is a good organization here you're going to recognize. Thanks for doing it.
Thank you, Speaker. Today, we recognize Skills USA and the impact it makes across Georgia. With over 25,000 students and advisors involved and more than 11,000 student members for the first time in Georgia, Skills USA is preparing the next generation for high-demand careers through career and technical education. These students are gaining not just technical skills, but the leadership, discipline, and real-world experience that Georgia employers are looking for. We are honored to have with us today Asia Adams, State President, Navadeep Buddha, State Treasurer, Asha Acuff, Executive Director of Skills USA, April Duncan, the Board of Directors Industry Representative, and Edwin Duncan, State Leadership Conference Volunteer. At a time when closing the skills gap is critical, Skills USA is stepping up, building a stronger workforce and a stronger Georgia. Today we honor their achievement and those who make this success possible. House, if you can help me recognize and welcome them to the House chamber. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Hey, they're doing good stuff there now. Speaker Pro Tem of this House, Speaker Pro Tem Jones and some friends is recognized for a morning order. Boy, this is a cool one. Let's listen to the lady.
Well,
For your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So this year marks 16 years of Georgia Pre-K Week, and it celebrates 33 years of Georgia's pre-K program, which serves 70,000 students in every single county in the state. And we're so grateful to DECAL and to the teachers and the assistant teachers and all the folks that it takes to serve our youngest learners. If you will join me, and well, I just want to first make sure everybody puts it in their calendar that Georgia Pre-K Week will actually take place October 5th through the 9th. If you haven't spoken in one of your pre-K classes in your district, I encourage you to do it. They supply the books. You can read those books or others, but it really is just an amazing experience to actually be in the classroom and see what our lottery-funded dollars provide to our youngest learners. So if you will join me in recognizing Callie, who is up there in the gallery, and the members, all the people in the gallery that work in Georgia Pre-K or DECAL, if you'll please stand so we can recognize you, and thank you for all you do. Thank you very much.
I know of no greater champion for young children in learning than Pro Tem Jones. Thank you for your work. Thank you for what Decal's doing. Thanks for pre-K. And Callie, why don't you come down to the ante room? Don't jump over the ledge now. Somebody retain him. Her. Yeah, whatever. Come down to the ante room and we'll take some photos with you. Thank y'all. Representative Sheila Jones. Recognized for morning order. Give the lady your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to recognize 3 pages that I have here with us today. They are all residents of District 60. We have Connor, who is a 9th grader at North Atlanta High School. He is a member of the marching band and the symphonic band. He is an honor student and is bilingual in Spanish. We also have Emmeline, who is a 7th grader at Sutton Middle School and is bilingual in Spanish also. She is a captain of the varsity debate team, a softball player and pitcher. And the third one that we have is Soha. She's a 7th grader at Westminster School. She is an active debater of the debate club and a model United Nations delegate. And I want to thank Gina Doherty in Legislative Council for allowing her 2 children to serve as page. And for my pages, I have prepared a resolution for each of you. Thank you.
Hey, that's a nice touch. Welcome to your pages. We look forward to meeting them. Representative Bell. Representative Scott, you're on deck. Representative Bell and friends.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, we in the gallery, I rise this morning to recognize a support group for widows and widowers. This group is led by the visionary of the group that published author, Dr. Shanita Connolly. The members of this group remain committed to the legacies of their deceased spouses and have committed themselves to the support of one another in their new journeys. They meet, they pray, they cry together, and reminisce on the support and uplift one another. They serve as a point of encouragement and inspiration for each other through the emotional roller coaster of their lives without their spouses. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please help me welcome the people of the House, Ms. Shanita Scott Connolly, and the beloved widows and widowers. If you would please stand to be recognized. They will be in room 216 of the Capitol. If you would like to join, stop by and say hello. We would love that. And thank you, Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen of the House, the widows and widowers, and I yield the will.
Representative Scott and friends. Representative Sandra Scott. Oh, I like those blazers. Sharp.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, I recognize a group of students from Clayton County Public Schools. They are here to advocate for student behavior health and mental health funding. They are here to advocate today. So when they call you out to the roads, please go out and speak with the students about funding for mental health, because we know that mental health is real. And I'm here to tell you that it starts before kids even get in school, but definitely from pre-K on up to 12th grade. We need funding for mental health in schools. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield the well. You told me to stand up? Oh, could you all please stand? That's not me, I think. Okay, okay, sorry. You all stand.
Representing Carlton Howard, L.C. Miles, Augusta delegation. Wait a minute. What are you doing?
And friends.
You're from the other side of the state.
I know people everywhere.
Oh, they adopted you. Okay, the gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and to our colleagues. Today we welcome the Georgia Shifts Changemakers Academy. They are visiting us from Augusta, Georgia, and of course they are led by their executive director and county commissioner, Jordan Johnson. their success coach, Miss Priscilla Elliott, and program coordinator, Miss Skylar McMuttery. These young people that you'll see up in the gallery, they represent a new generation of leaders committed to strengthening democracy and public service across the state of Georgia. Of course, Georgia Shift is a nonprofit organization dedicated to engaging, educating, and empowering young people to participate in civic life and advocate for their communities. The Changemakers Academy equips emerging leaders with the knowledge, skills, and confidence to organize, serve, and influence public policy at the local and state level. These are some intelligent young people. I had a conversation with them. Be careful that if you get to them, they'll ask you a question that you may not be able to answer. Let's welcome them to the Georgia Capitol, to the People's House. They're right there on the front row. Would you stand, please? Thank you.
Change makers. Y'all do, I know about y'all. Y'all doing good stuff. Thank you. Appreciate you being here today as well. Keep working for us, for our people, working for your neighbor. Thank y'all. Chairman Chokus. Then Chairman Crow, you're on deck. Chairman Chokus and friends. He has some friends.
One or two.
All right.
Thank you,
A lot
Mr.
of friends.
Speaker. It is my honor to recognize the 2025-2026 Young Miss Peanut Queen. So, Miss Scarlett, stand up. Everybody wave. Oh, yeah. She's adorable, and of course, like all beauty queens, she has to have an entourage. So she brought her mom and dad. Lane Tyson, her father, stand up, and Daiquiri, please stand up. So the three of them are here at the Capitol today, and thank you, Mr. Speaker, for letting us honor them.
Boy, she's beautiful. And she's got the wave too, Scarlett. You looking good, girl. Congratulations. Good to have you too, Mom and Dad. We're glad to have you. We love peanuts as well. Chairman Crow, recognized for a morning order. And friends. Oh, this is a good one.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, we once again have a group of students from Rock Springs Christian Academy with us today, and this time we have the state champion wrestling team from Rock Springs Christian Academy with us. The teams consist of Miles Donegan, Chael Brown, Trenton Henderson, Drew Beecham, Cale Donegan, Caleb George, Levi George, Nate Harper, Shane Perkins, Cody Garner, Xavier Bond, Samuel Chambers, Clark Fagan, Noah Reynolds, River Pines, and are coached by Jonathan Bischoff and Jason Valdez. They're up in the gallery with the trophy. If you would all please stand and make them welcome. They did a great job. This is their second state wrestling championship. Woo! Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Oh, Rock Springs, River Pines. Nice trophy. Congratulations, guys. I know y'all didn't pin anybody, did you, out in the hall, I hope. We made you call on you about doing some pinning out in the hall. Thank y'all for being here. Congratulations. Representative Paris, ladies recognized. You got friends coming with you? All right, she's got some friends going to be with her, too. Now'd be the time to join the lady in the well. There she comes.
Bibb County delegation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, colleagues, I rise to honor and introduce the incredible women of PACE Girls of Macon, Georgia, a program that represents not just education, but transformation, resilience, and hope. PACE, the Practical Academic Cultural Education Program, is built on the belief that every girl deserves an opportunity to discover her strength, define her future, and rise beyond any obstacle she may face. Here in Macon, these young women are not defined by their past circumstances. They are empowered by their potential. Today we celebrate these remarkable girls not for where they've been, but for where they are going. Their journeys remind us all that when given the right tools, guidance, and encouragement, there is no limit to what they can achieve. Please join me in recognizing and celebrating these extraordinary girls of PACE of Macon and their director, Miss Rebecca Haley Richards. Thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies, for being here. We appreciate what y'all are doing. Continue working hard. Y'all doing good stuff. Chairman Anderson. How about Representative Chaz Cannon, Representative Little Hood, and Representative Reese?
It's okay this time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, today we rise to acknowledge and recognize one of our favorite nonprofits here in the state of Georgia, and that is the United Way organization here in Georgia. We do have a few members with us here in the gallery. I do want to ask that you guys please stand for us. We have Kay Keller, who's the State Association President, and John Francis from CEO of United Way of Northeast Georgia. We have Leah Daddick, the COO of United Way of Coastal Empire, and Haley Ramey, the Executive Director of United Ways of Georgia, which is the newly formed state association. We also have several other United Ways here at the Capitol, 30 United Ways across the state of Georgia, and we have Mr. Arson Burton, CEO of United Way of Southwest Georgia. And Mr. Speaker, I just want to take a moment to personally thank the leadership of United Way. When we were dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, it was United Way and the organizations that help us help those people that didn't have emergencies. So this year we passed Next Gen 911, which is amazing because we're going to be improving the 911 system in our state. Now we need to expand 211 to accompany that so that when we have emergencies, people will not be clogging the emergency line trying to find out where they can get water or food or tarps. And we're excited that United Way is heading up that fight for us. So thank you, United Way, for what you do. Any United Way members in the gallery, if you'll please stand for us at this time. And thank you to the ones that we have here in the room here to our left. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Thank you, representatives. Thanks to United Way. They're also embracing 988 as well. So thank y'all for what y'all are doing in all of those areas to make sure our people are informed. Representative Anderson is recognized for a morning order and some friends, at least one. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If they're still here, we've got a group here from Flowery Branch Middle School today, some 8th graders. If y'all are here, still stand, please, with us. We got them over here on the right. We'd like to recognize them, a large group, okay? And I would like to point out that we coordinated this group today with my niece, who is a teacher and the coordinator for this group today, Kelsey Bailey. So, Kelsey, glad to see you today. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Good to have y'all. Great crowd. Welcome to your capital. Hope you've enjoyed your day. All right, we have another special group that has a huge impact on our state. So members, I want you to pay attention. I think many of you partake in this great sport. In fact, I think Chairman Powell, I've heard they're getting ready to have a little tournament here early next month. Is that correct? Chairman Powell is going to talk to us about Golf Day. So if you'd like to
come on down, golfers
jump on
in the
down,
house.
golfers. Come on, and you hackers. All you hackers, come down.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to House Resolution 1713, today is proclaimed Golf Day in the state of Georgia. You know, I want to say just a few words. We have some of our golfing professionals up in the gallery. It took them forever to get there because of the crowd this morning. But this is a very special day to honor these folks. What an industry, and how lucky we are in the state of Georgia. We have so many things that's going for us, both in industry and tourism, but one of the factions to that prosperity we have is the golfing industry in Georgia. You know, $5.5 million plus industry in the state. economic impact, not including the side money that a lot of us lose on the golf course. 25,000 or so employees that work at these facilities, but most importantly, for those of y'all who have a doubt that there's a God, God has given us one of the greatest states with the weather that we can have golf year-round in Georgia. No matter whether you're at the great courses at St. Simon's or Macklemore or down on the southwestern corner of the state, or if you're up in northeast Georgia, we have all kinds of golfing facilities, from the small ones to the public to the private, the Currahys and the Katichis and the Chimney Oaks and the ones at Lake Oconee. We have golf in Georgia. Not to be remiss to say, thanks to the greatness of people like the great Bobby Jones, that we have two of the most premier golf events in the world located here in Georgia. The Masters. You don't even have to say anything about that. What else can be said? It gives Augusta a reason to survive. But the Masters. And then the other is the old course at East Lake. How lucky we are in the state of Georgia and the economic impact that they provide for Georgians, for both recreation and for the economic impact all the way around. Thank you, folks. Thank you to your colleagues that work in the industry, whether they be the professionals or one that cuts the grass or runs the pro shops. But we're so fortunate for you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Golf Day in Georgia. Thanks, Mr. Chairman and members, for being active and enjoying the great sport of golf. Have a great legacy here in our state. Members, I think we're about ready. I am, if y'all are. We'll move on to the rules calendar. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 553?
Senate Bill 553 by Senator Hatchett, the 50th, and others to be entitled an act to amend Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to professions and businesses so as to repeal Chapter 14. This bill having referred to the Committee on Regulated Industries, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Representative Matthew Gamble is recognized to speak to Senate Bill 553. The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 553, colleagues, I bring to you today on behalf of the governor as he continues to act on his promise to streamline excessive regulations and get Georgians to work. This bill seeks to codify objective licensing requirements to streamline the licensing process for the 5 divisions of the State Construction Industry Licensing Board, including the Division of Electrical Contractor, Division of Low Voltage Contractors, Division of Master Plumbers and Journeyman Plumbers, Division of Utility Contractors, Division of Conditioned Air Contractors. This bill succeeds many from last session that accomplished necessary licensing reforms to ensure consistency and fairness for applicants seeking licensure. The Supreme Court has ruled that the state boards can only make rules when the legislature clearly authorizes them, and those rules must implement legislative policy rather than expand it. Right now, the Construction Industry Licensing Board has broad authority to set qualifications experience requirements, and exam standards through rulemaking alone. To address this and bring clarity to the process, the Governor's Office worked with the Secretary of State, industry leaders to codify objective, measurable licensing requirements directly into statute. That way, anyone pursuing a trade can read the law and know exactly what they need to do to qualify for licensure. So again, the framework for the State Construction Industry Licensure Board has been pieced together over decades. As a result, it has become fragmented, and this will help to bring all of that together and make it simpler for those who depend on these licensures already. It does not create any new licensures. It is only designed to clean the process up as it exists. As our state continues to grow, it's critical that we create the best policy and regulatory policy to work with our professional licensing. That is what this bill does. And Mr. Speaker, I would ask for this body's favorable consideration, and I'm happy to entertain any questions.
You have a couple of questions. Representative Buckner to your left. Ladies, would y'all, Representative Draper?
I'm sorry. Does the gentleman yield?
I yield.
This is intended to be a friendly question, and I hope it's the right answer that you can give me, but I've had several constituents that have had difficulty going through the process to reinstate their licenses if they moved out of state or to renew them. Will this speed that process up for them so they can get back to work?
Absolutely. Again, it creates that consistency that's needed. Right now, there's too much objectivity, and that's what this bill is focused to do.
Representative Fry.
Yes, sir. I'll take.
Gentleman's recognized for a question. If you'll take another question.
I yield.
Will the gentleman yield?
I yield.
Thank you. Isn't it true that as a licensed contractor myself, it's true that all the trades that are in this bill have worked to create this legislation and are okay with this bill as it is written right now?
That is true, my friend, and there was a considerable amount of time and effort done to bring all those parties together so that everyone was on board, and that's what this bill accomplishes, and I appreciate your question.
Thank you for bringing this legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With that, I will yield the well and ask for this body's favorable consideration.
Boy, we need this one. Thanks for bringing the bill. Good questions. The gentleman has yielded the well. Is any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 553, the yeas are 168, nays are 0. This bill has received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to House Bill 285?
Senate
Bill, I apologize. I don't want to give the Senate any more credit than I have to, but this is a Senate bill. Senate Bill 285, Mr. Clerk.
Senate Bill 285 by Senator Robertson of the 29th, to be entitled an act to amend Article 12 of Chapter 3 of Title 38 and Part 4 of Article 2 of Chapter 5 of Title 46 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the Emergency Communications Authority and Emergency Telephone Numbers 911 system. This bill having referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chairman Chuck Martin is recognized to present Senate Bill 285. Chairman Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me first thank everyone that has worked on this and the patience. You probably got some emails over this over the last week or so, and there's been some confusion. So let me first make the point of this is no longer a fee or a tax increase on the 911. It has nothing to do with your telephone. What we have done instead is found an existing revenue source and expressed the clear intent of this General Assembly to appropriate money to partner with our locals to increase the benefits sooner for the peace officers' annuity and benefit system. And we're doing that while we're complying with actuarial funding priorities and ratios to protect the long-term stability and keep a lasting commitment to these men and women that put their life on the line for us. With that said, what the bill now does is it identifies funds that are the insurance premium tax that go to city and county governments. One of the first bullets in that current funding is for police protection. So we are asking our counties and cities to partner with us, and we will take 1.5% of that premium tax and direct to the POAB. And we, at the state, will match that. Our intent is to match that. That is in the language of the bill through the appropriations process to allocate 0.5% of the state side of that premium tax to go to the POAB. What this does in the bill is it allows the board the flexibility after July 1st, 2027 to increase benefits from $30 up to $35. It also funds the benefit system better. They're funded at 91% today. It will fund them better going forward and make them more able, if the board chooses, to issue a COLA for the current retirees. So I want to reiterate what the bill does and it doesn't do. It does not put a tax increase on every Georgian that has a telephone or a landline or a mobile device. It does not do that. It instead identifies current revenue sources to fund this very important benefit for the POAB so we can move forward. It does that while maintaining the funding ratios and getting the potential benefit to the beneficiaries sooner, July 1st, 2027. Now, the intention of this House is to also go through the proper process for amending a retirement fund in Georgia by introducing a bill in the 27 session of the General Assembly that would then go to actuarial analysis and be laid over for a year so that we can continue to work with the board of the POAB to have a longer term solution. But what we've done in the House is we've gotten no tax increase. We're funding it out of current revenue sources. We're complying with all actuarial and funding ratios necessary and getting the benefit opportunity to the members sooner. I can get to the details of the bill if there are questions about those, Mr. Speaker, but that's what it does. It gets our benefits to our men and women that are so deserving. It does that sooner while keeping the stability of the plan and honoring our long-term commitment. I'd answer any questions if there are, Mr. Speaker.
Looks like you have just a couple of questions. Representative Rahman, to your left up the center aisle, is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Absolutely.
Do you mind just expanding a little bit about the piece regarding people's telephone bills? Because that was something that I'd heard from some folks concerned about this bill, that it would essentially add a monthly fee to their bills so to be able to fund this. So I would love to have a little bit more information to talk to them about it.
No, certainly. That's what the original bill that came over from the Senate did. It actually did not impact their retirement. The gentleman's intention was to better fund the retirement system from the Senate, but the bill itself just increased the fee $1 a month on phones. We have, pardon me, Chairman Blackman, along with the House leadership, and great credit goes to the Speaker and folks from POAB that worked with us and gave us time to do this. That is no longer in the bill. This is not a tax increase. Some of the question had been that the tax increase was going to the corporations. It was not. It would have been headed right to your men and women that send us up here. That tax is no longer in the bill.
Representative Bell is recognized for a question to your right.
Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
We've already have dedicated revenue streams that fund public projects such as the fuel tax serves our public roads. How does this fund directly tie towards the public good?
Tell me again, we have are you the gentleman talking about constitutionally dedicated revenues?
We have the fuel tax for motor vehicles. They funds our public roads. How do these funds particularly tie towards the public good?
The insurance premium tax is approved in current statute in 33-8-8.3, and it's you can see it mimicked on lines 21 through 36 of the bill. That's current law that says these premium taxes that insurance companies pay in lieu of the income tax in Georgia is split between the locals and the state. Those monies go to the cities and counties, but there's a list according to the Constitution of how they can be used. In police protection, fire protection, various things you'll see on lines 24 through 28. So those funds were already going to the cities and counties to do that. We have worked with the cities and counties to take a portion of that money and put it in POAB, which is police protection. So this is not a constitutional dedication. It uses funds that were already pointed in that direction, and it funds the POAB from that. And from the state's point of view, we cannot constitutionally dedicate our revenue without a constitutional amendment. We don't have time to do that. So our intent is listed in line 67 through 69 of the bill, that our intention is to appropriate 0.5% of our insurance premium revenues toward this process.
The gentleman has a couple more questions if he wants to yield.
I will do so if the speaker wishes.
Representative Stinson up the center aisle is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Thank you for your work on this piece of legislation, but is it true that the retirement benefit for a 30-year vested member will increase only by $150?
The way the bill reads is the board would have the ability, pardon me, the board would have the ability to increase the benefit from $30 to $35. And let me explain that. That is a benefit earned per year of service per month. So today, a 30-year retiree is getting $900. They would earn 30 years benefit for 30 years of service, $900 per month. Under this plan, that would could increase from 30 to 35. So that would be $150 a month or up to $1,800 per year for a retiree.
Does the gentleman further yield?
I do.
Is it not true that I reached out to several law enforcement officers in my district and they asked me to support this legislation?
I'm sure if the lady states that, I've not known her to tell me anything other than the truth in all my time serving with her.
Representative Parsons to your left, he waves. You have no further questions.
I yield the well, Mr. Speaker, and ask the House's favorable support to continue to support those men and women that put it all on the line for us.
Thank you, Representative Martin, for your presentation and for your work on this bill. That concludes the gentleman's presentation. He's yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no, and Mr. Clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 285, the yeas are 165, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Good work, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 216.
Senate Bill 216 by Senator Robertson, the 29th, and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 23, Title 47 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the Georgia Judicial Retirement System so as to provide for membership in the system for individuals employed as the Director of the Prosecuting Attorney's Qualifications Commission. This bill I refer to the Committee on Retirement. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Representative Joseph Gullett is recognized to present Senate Bill 216.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 216 is a bill that allows the Director of the Prosecuting Attorney's Qualifications Commission to participate in the Judicial Retirement System, JRS, aligning that position with similar roles in our judicial framework. Under this bill, individuals currently in that role, there's only one, will have a clear and structured option to transfer from the ERS system, Employees Retirement System, including covering any associated costs and preserving earned service credit. This ensures fairness and consistency in how we treat our positions that serve a critical function in maintaining accountability within our judicial system. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Gentleman has no questions.
I urge your favorable consideration and yield the well.
Gentlemen, yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. This so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 216, the yeas are 165, the nays are 0. This bill having received a requisite constitutional majority is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 439?
Senate Bill 439 by Senator Still of the 48th and others to be entitled an act to amend Part 2 of Article 15 of Chapter 1, Title 10 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated the Fair Business Practices Act of 1975, so as to provide for regulation of referral agencies for assisted living communities. This bill I have referred to the Committee on Health. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chairman John LaHood is recognized to present Senate Bill 439. The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Speaker. And members, I'm here to present Senate Bill 439. As many of you know, our country is on the early end of a curve of a major demographic shift. The oldest baby boomers are turning 80 this year. And so we're seeing more and more influx of these consumers choosing senior living settings for care and residences. And so what we're doing is bringing transparency to the referral process, and the senior living providers, with the help of the Georgia Senior Living Association, have sat down with the referral agencies and come to an agreement. All the parties agree that what this does is bring transparency to the consumer and lets them know that the referral agencies are being paid a fee, and has some other details in here that just add more transparency for the betterment of the consumer. So, Mr. Speaker, if there's any questions, I'll take them.
The gentleman has no questions.
Favorable consideration. Thank you. I yield the well.
He's asked for your favorable consideration. He's yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no, and Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 439, the yeas are 168, the nays are 0. This bill, having received a requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 470?
Senate Bill 470 by Senator Albers of the 56th and others to be entitled an act to amend Article 2 of Chapter 11 and Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to offenses against public order so as to prohibit the possession, use, operation, manufacture, sale, offer for sale, distribution, to specifically authorize the Attorney General to commence forfeiture proceedings. This bill having referred to the Committee on Technology and Infrastructure Innovation. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chairman Crowe is recognized to present Senate Bill 470. The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, this is the committee substitute for Senate Bill 470. This bill criminalizes the possession, use, operation, manufacture, sale, distribution, or importation of signal jammers in Georgia. Signal jammers block wireless, cellular, GPS, radar, and radio communications, putting first responders, 911 systems, and critical infrastructure at serious risk. This bill creates graduated felony penalties, authorizes civil forfeiture of jammer devices, and preserves exemptions for federally authorized use and law enforcement. Our public safety and first responders need to know that when they key up their radios or a citizen dials 911, that signal is going to get through. And for that reason, I urge your favorable vote on the committee substitute for Senate Bill 470. Mr. Speaker, I'll be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
The gentleman has no questions.
Thank you, sir. I yield the well and ask for your favorable vote.
The gentleman has yielded the will. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 470, the yeas are 163, the nays are 3. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 444?
Senate Bill 444 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 46 to Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to certification to private review agents so as to provide that certain decisions with regard to the provision of insurance coverage for healthcare services shall not be based solely on artificial intelligence systems. This bill having referred to the Committee on Technology and Infrastructure Innovation. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
The gentleman from Hall County, Chairman Lee Hawkins, is recognized to present Senate Bill 444.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill is a very simple bill, and it just states that the collection of data that to develop matrix to make decisions is reasonable. But when it comes to a denial of a treatment of a human, that denial should be made by a human. And that's simply what the bill says. If there are no questions, I will yield the well.
This gentleman has no questions. He's yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 444, the yeas are 166 and nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 452?
Senate Bill 452 by Senator Hatch to the 50th and others to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 47-2 357 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to withdrawal, employer contributions, vesting, and date of election so as to increase the maximum employer contribution to a 401k. This bill has been referred to the Committee on Retirement. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Chairman Carson is recognized to present Senate Bill 452. Present and explain. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is Senate Bill 452. Folks, you may remember this from the governor's State of the State address, where he talked about the need to increase the retirement pay for our state law enforcement. And before I go further, I must say this is something that I really did not know much about even 6 years ago, but I've been involved the past 5 years. We were looking at other options. The plan forward, obviously, is the one before you, to do a defined contribution plan. And I want to remind folks here in the gallery, before we go further into the details, we have several members of state law enforcement, state troopers. I see Trooper Mooney up in the gallery, several other troopers, Trooper Goebel. They're all coming in right now. Regardless of the current political environment, could we just thank them for the job they do to keep us safe here in the Capitol and in our great state? I'd be remiss if I didn't also mention the executive security detail for various members as well. I had to include that, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Senate Bill 452 basically addresses this issue. The issue is that we have the 49th lowest state law enforcement retirement pay in the nation. 49th lowest. When I took a look at this issue in 2021, we had, how many of you are native Atlantans like me? Okay, back in 1996, we had more troopers on the road in 1996 than we did just 4 or 5 years ago. And the reason being is because of recruiting and retention. Senate Bill 452, led by Governor Kemp and his team, addresses that issue. What this does, it provides for an increasing amount of 401k match, up to 15% employer match, that's obviously by the state, beginning in year 10. This applies to all post-certified individuals as officers, as well as officers in our DCS, Department of Community Supervision. This is a balanced, measured approach that has been led by our governor to address this issue, to provide a stable and fair retirement for these men and women, that sacrifice so much for us each and every day, for us, here in the Capitol, but really more so for all of our constituents in our state. With that, there might be some questions. I will tell you that the cost to the state is about $5.5 million a year. You have a one-pager in front of you. Again, this does not go through actuarial because it's defined contribution in regard to 401ks, to give these fine men and women more of a retirement that they deserve. With that, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to yield for a question or two.
You have a question. Representative Sanchez to your right is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir, I do.
Yeah, I agree with giving workers more retirement, and I'm wondering why we haven't given this to all of our public employees instead of just a select few.
Well, like I said, I think this is a measured approach. There's certainly an argument to be made for that. But in regard to state law enforcement pay, we are one of the lowest in the nation, and this is a very measured way, but I would also say a very needed way to reward these men and women for the job they do for us. With that, Mr. Speaker.
What gentleman has another question, if you'll take the
Yes, sir.
illustration
Yes.
right in front of you. The gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir, it's my friend.
Mr. Chairman, is it not true that approximately 2 years ago, we increased the state match for all state employees in their retirement?
That's absolutely correct. That was absolutely correct. And again, we're going more and more as a state, I can say as in my position, we're going more and more as a state to a defined contribution plans, which are honestly provide more flexibility, but also less long-term costs to the state, but more flexibility in return to the members. With that, Mr. Speaker, I just want to say thank you to these men to allow me to carry this bill. And with that, Mr. Speaker, I yield the will.
Gentleman's yielded the well. We do have one speaker who I'll recognize to speak in favor of the bill. That's Chairman Chuck Martin. The gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll be brief, but I want to encourage everybody to support this. And I see these guys up there. We had a good meeting a couple of years ago, and things didn't come out the way we wanted to in that meeting. And I was committed to you guys, and I can't thank you enough for believing in the process and working with the governor and Senator Hatchett over there and Chairman Carson's over here. And this is the way things are supposed to work. It gives me great faith in you all and the longevity we can build in the partnership. And so a lot of times we pass around our thank yous down here on the floor of the House and the Senate. But you guys believed in it. You kept your shoulder to the wheel, and you worked on it for a couple of years here. And doing this in this defined contribution plan can happen this year. It doesn't have to wait again. It doesn't have to wait for actuarial. And I appreciate every one of you for what you do every day, but I appreciate you even more for believing in the process and getting a good retirement that you control in the 401k. And we hope you stay with us the whole 30 years, but if we don't, we wish you the best, and we want to pay you as you go. Members, I hope you'll vote for this and show them what we owe them.
Gentlemen, has yielded well. That completes our discussion on Senate Bill 452. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 452, the yeas are 163, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Thank you, the men and women of public safety, and all that you do for us to keep us safe. We appreciate you, and we look forward to continue to work to build the strongest retirement and to build this pay scale we can for those who keep us safe. Thank y'all. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 489?
Senate Bill 489 by Senator Goodman of the 8th and others, to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 11 and Title 47 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating the judges of the Probate Courts Retirement Fund of Georgia, so as to allow the Board of Commissioners of the judges of the Probate Courts Retirement Fund of Georgia to set monthly dues. This bill having referred to the Committee on Retirement, that committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Representative Chad Cannon is recognized to present Senate Bill 489. The gentleman is recognized. Please give him your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have Senate Bill 489, which relates to the probate judge's retirement fund. The retirement fund does not receive any appropriation from the General Assembly, and the bill does not propose to do that. Some of the background for the bill is that the fund has had about a $250,000 decrease over the past 4 or 5 years, and an actuarial study recently showed that as a result of this decrease, the fund will fall below the 100% funded mark within the next 5 years. So a few minor tweaks are necessary to shore up the fund. Again, no fiscal impact to the state as a result. Some of the specific tweaks, again, very small, is they're revising member dues from a set amount of 105 to include a range, 105 to 150 set by the board. That's lines 13 through 16. They're increasing the percentage of the marriage license fee that goes to the retirement fund, not the actual fee itself, but the percentage of the fee that goes to the fund from 20 to 25%. That's in line 129. They're increasing the civil filing fee, again, not the actual fee, the dollar amount that goes to the fund, on line 133 from $2 to $5. The last thing is the bond forfeiture and fine fee is going from $3 to $5. That's in line 148. Mr. Speaker, that's the genesis of the bill. I'll take any questions.
Gentleman has no questions.
I yield the well.
Gentleman's yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no, and Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. All members voted. I got one left. Y'all should let him keep walking fast. All members now voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 489, the yeas are 161 and nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 570, 570?
Senate Bill 570 by Senators Still of the 48th and others to be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 21 and Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating the rights, duties, and liabilities of innkeepers. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Judiciary. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Representative Deborah Silcox is recognized to present Senate Bill 570.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I rise to you today to present Senate Bill 570, which is called the Georgia Human Trafficking Prevention Training Act. As you may know, most of our major hotel brands and many large corporations routinely train their employees on how to actively detect and prevent sex trafficking. For this bill, the Georgia Hotel and Lodging Association has worked very hard with the short-term rental platforms to ensure that every short-term rental platform and every person that comes to attend the World Cup, that their employees are trained on these techniques and that they are safe from human trafficking. I do want to acknowledge Representative Deborah Bazemore. She worked very hard on this bill last year, and I appreciate her work. But I will say that this is, I think, a critical piece of legislation given this huge event that's coming, and it would provide a uniform standard of training, thresholds, and programs for all hotels and short-term rentals in Georgia. If passed, Georgia will join the ranks of other friendly states like Texas, Florida, and North Carolina, which have all passed human trafficking laws. 13 states in total have passed this very legislation. Every on-site hotel employee and short-term rental operator will be required to take an approved human trafficking training program within 60 days of employment. The bill would also require short-term rentals to take the training. The CJCC, along with the JHLA and short-term rental platforms, will be involved in the identification and approval of these programs, ensuring transparency and collaboration. So, if there are no questions, Mr. Speaker, I'll yield the well.
Lady has no questions.
Thank you.
Lady has yielded the well. We do have a speaker in favor. Representative Bazemore is recognized to speak to the bill. Please give the lady in the well your attention, please. Lady's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I stand in favor of this bill and thank the author of the bill and his ability to successfully get the bill passed during crossover. My bill, HB 490, the Human Trafficking Prevention Training Act, was introduced last year in Economic Development and Tourism. And I want to thank Chairman Stevens for all his support. Every individual in the industry, the Attorney General, and many of my colleagues provided input and/or support. My bill passed out of Economic Development and Tourism unanimously 3 times and was introduced in the Rules Committee twice. Unfortunately, it didn't make it out of Rules and over to the floor of the House for a vote before crossover. As many of you know, I worked tirelessly with the First Lady, Marty Kemp, on human trafficking, which is what prompted my desire to introduce HB 490. However, I've learned during the many years of my life that it doesn't matter who gets the credit, but in this case, how our children are protected from those many traffickers who are waiting to prey on them. I ask for your favorable consideration and vote for this bill.
Ladies yielded the well. Representative Bazemore, you know it takes many of us to get the job done. And I think the work you laid down ahead, working with Chairman Stevens, certainly helped pave the way for us to get this bill across the finish line from the Senate. So thank you for your work. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 570, the yeas are 162, the nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Thank you, members, and we also want to say thank you to the First Lady of this state, Marty Kemp, and her work in the Grace Commission and what she's doing to help combat human trafficking in our state. And certainly, again, can't leave out our Attorney General, Chris Carr, and all the work he's doing in this same area as well. Thank you for your vote, members. For what purposes, Representative Anderson rise?
To make a motion.
State your motion.
I move that Senate Bill 21 be moved from the Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee to Governmental Affairs, and both committee chairs agree.
Mr. Clerk will read the caption, please.
Senate Bill 21 by Senator Tillery, the 19th, and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 80 of Title 36 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to general provisions applicable to counties and municipal corporations.
On the gentleman's motion that Senate Bill 21 be withdrawn from the Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee and be recommitted to the Governmental Affairs Committee. Is there objection? Hearing none, is so ordered. Members, we're going to move on to afternoon orders. We have a couple that will demand your attention and your respect. So I want to ask the members to pay attention to the member in the well. I'm going to recognize Chairman Rick Jaspers. If you will join me in rising and standing with Chairman Jaspers, and please give him your respect. Members will cease conversation and rise. Chairman Jaspers.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In Jasper on Tuesday, as I know you've heard on the news, we had a tragedy. Some of the details are limited and been embargoed, and the GBI will release the details later on this afternoon. But we have a VA clinic. Our community is so proud to have that clinic. And we have very many veterans that live in our region. You go by this parking lot, it's full, and it's been a great service. It's just been a blessing to our community. Well, a veteran the other day, I have no better way of saying it when I was been thinking about it, had a mental health issue that just went bad. He shot the physician that was treating him, and he went in the parking lot, and then our local Jasper Police Department had to stop him from killing others. I got to brag on my community. You know, I do live in a small town, 4,000 people. And the coordination of Jasper Police, Pickens Sheriff, our EMS, our helicopters that flew the physician to Kennestone was unbelievably smooth and effortless. And of course, my community's in shock. You can tell I am too still, because it's our friends. But I hope you just take a moment to pause with us, because mental health is real, and the issues veterans have is absolutely paramount. And I know we've done a lot in our legislature to help them, and I sure appreciate what we've done. But just, Mr. Speaker, we can just pause for a few moments of silence and prayer in honor of the victims and our first responders. Thank you, members, for your attention.
Members, if you'll remain standing with me, I'm going to recognize Representative Crow and the Henry County delegation. I'm sorry, Representative Holly signed up for this one, but y'all all a part of this as far as the Henry County delegation. And our prayers go out for those veterans and those families that were impacted up in Jasper. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Holly is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our Henry County community is devastated. We had the passing of firefighter Stephen Reeves of Henry County Fire Rescue. He died after suffering a medical emergency while on duty on March the 3rd. Reeves proudly gave a faithful 20 years of committed service as both a paramedic and a firefighter. He was known as a loving father, a sibling, had a hearty laughter, and also enjoyed a love of powdered donuts. Well, he was laid to rest on last Thursday. And so if we can be able to keep his family as well as our Henry County Fire Rescue in your prayers, and I ask that you join us for just a brief moment of silence. Thank you, members. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield it well.
Thank you, Representative Holly. Our condolences to the Reeves family. Thanks to all of our folks in public safety, first responders, the great work they do for us. Representative Kendrick. Lady is recognized for, I want to hear this one.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. It is that time of year for my annual birthday rant. And so I have my birthday twin, Representative Teddy Reese, to join me. Both of our birthdays is August the 28th. You see, when your birthday is outside of the legislative session, you don't get cake, you don't get a card, you don't get the speaker calling your name, you don't get a round of applause. And so for everybody in this chamber who has a birthday outside of the legislative session, would you please stand up so that our colleagues can give us a round of applause for our birthdays outside of the legislative session. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
No, thank you. We're all proud to get a little bit of applause, aren't we? Representative Ali, the gentleman is recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As always, I would like to highlight a child that is up for adoption. Two in this case, named Jayla and Nova, age 6 and 5 respectively. Both were born in 2019. Both are curious, upbeat, and extremely strong-willed children. As always, we can make it possible for them to be adopted at itsmyturnnow.dhs.georgia.gov. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Jordan Ridley, Representative Hilton, Representative Rahman are recognized for an afternoon order. Well, maybe you're by yourself, are you?
No, I'm waiting.
Oh, they're coming. Okay, I see them. I see one of them anyway. So give him just a second. Are you guys, Representative McDonald, are you? No, you're not. You are? Okay, you can be part of this.
Why are you always surprised?
Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I am so deeply honored and touched to have been asked by Alicia to speak about Navratri today. Navratri is an annual Hindu festival that spans 9 days in the honor of the Hindu goddess Durga. Celebrations include worshiping 9 goddesses during the 9 days, stage decorations, recital of the legend, enacting of the story, and chanting of the scriptures of Hinduism. This time of celebrating divine feminine empowerment brings inspiration, devotion, and celebration to so many. To all the Hindu Georgians celebrating, may this Navratri be a time of spiritual awakening and personal growth. And on a personal note, this season is a reminder of how much ties us than divides us. Ramadan began along with Lent, and now Navratri begins the day Ramadan ends. I think there's a lesson there for all of us if we're willing to see it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Mr. Clerk, will you read a caption to a group of privileged resolutions?
Honoring the life and memory of Ricardo Rick Hubler. Honoring the life and memory of Major William Rusty Furman, Jr. Honoring the life and memory of Lewis Givens, Sr. Honoring the life and memory of Samuel Nelson Givens. Honoring the life and memory of Mamie G. Jones. Honoring the life and memory of George Allen Wittenberg III. Honoring the life and memory of Horace Humphreys, Jr. Honoring the life and memory of Cheryl Annette Williams. Honoring the life and legacy of Sally Fitzgerald and designating February 14, 2026 as Sally Fitzgerald Day. Honoring the work of Melinda Klinecht. Recognizing and commending Dr. Lieutenant Colonel Jacqueline Toplin. Recognizing and commending Stephen Gregory Mapes. Recognizing and commending Micah Gravely on his outstanding public service. Commending Deputy Bryce Richard Maddock. Recognizing and commending Speaker Pro Tem Jan Jones for extraordinary service to the state of Georgia upon the occasion of her retirement. Commending Jack Johnson, Carterville High School's 2026 Star Student. Commending Melissa Moore, Carterville's High School's 2026 Star Teacher. Commending Catherine Jones, Excels Christian Academy's 2026 Star Teacher. Commending Tatum Turner, Excel Christian Academy's 2026 Star Student. Commending the Wilcox County Lady Patriots basketball team for winning the 2026 GHSA Class A Division II Girls Basketball State Championship. Recognizing and commending Pastor Adrian R. Smith Sr. Recognizing and honoring birth responders and proclaiming May 8th, 2026 as Birth Responders Day. Commending Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Jonah Slade. Commending Cassandra Laughlin. Recognizing and commending Dr. Robert O. Scott. Honoring Linda Hayes for her 50 years of service to the Newton County government. Congratulating the North Paulding High School varsity competition cheer team for winning the 2025 GHSA Class 6A State Championship. Recognizing and commending Lieutenant Mike Weaver on his outstanding community engagement and outreach. Recognizing and commending Jesse Hewen on his outstanding public service. Congratulating and commending Tommy's Barbershop, and commending Rachel Kinsall, the 2026 Georgia Teacher of the Year, on being named a finalist for the 2026 National Teacher of the Year. And for other purposes, that completes the reading of the privilege resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privilege resolutions? Hearing none, the resolutions are adopted. Members, we're going to move on to announcements. I have the first one. I want you to hear this one. So the clerk just read a resolution that honors that the pro tem of this house, Jan Jones. We're going to put it up here this afternoon and tomorrow. If you'd like to sign on that resolution, it would be very much appreciated. I know that she would as well for her years of service to the people of Georgia. So the resolution honoring Pro Tem Jones will be up front. If you'd like to sign it, we would certainly welcome that as you sign that resolution. Can we get it, Mr. Clerk, this afternoon? No, he's ahead of me. He always is. It's already there. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thanks, Scotty. We're ready for announcements. Representative McLean. Wait a minute. I'll call somebody else. You want to sign it? Let's see. Who's over there? Chairman Gunther, want to make an announcement. Gentleman's recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have a Judiciary Committee meeting this afternoon. I announced it at around 1 o'clock yesterday, so to give everybody time to eat, we're going to set it at 1:30. We got about 3-4 bills to take care of. They all should go quickly.
Y'all hold Representative Chairman Lumsden's place, if you will, and he has an announcement.
There'll be an full House Insurance Committee meeting in the morning at 8 a.m., CLOB 406. Thank you.
Representative Gilliard is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is that time of the year again for Dashawn Kendrick's Savannah Seafood Sample. And Mr. Speaker, this year, I thought I'd bring some of Jesse Petrie's shrimp. We have shrimp and grits. We have fried fish. We have 2 rooms from snow crabs to everything from conch to low country ball. So when you get in, you don't need a ticket. All you need is your name tag. But for the entire Capitol, if you don't have a ticket, we can't click it. We're going to serve about 350 people a day. We look forward to seeing y'all. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
And we're starting at 1:30 instead of 1.
1:30. Thank you. That's a good day. That's good food, no doubt about that. Representative McLean is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Working Family Caucus will meet in room 310 over at the CLOB. Today's topic will be paid family medical leave and affordable child care and early education. after school care. So thank you all. We'll meet in room 310, and it is upon adjournment. So we have adjourned, so you can go over now and you can come back at 1:30 and eat some more shrimp because I'm not going to eat much, but yes. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair Lady Cooper, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a reminder that the House Health and Human Services Committee will meet at 2:30. We will meet at 2:30 in Capitol 403. That's a change in the room. So in the Capitol in room 403 at 2:30, House Public Health, Community and Service. Thank you.
Chairman Jasper, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, transportation folks. We're in 606 and we'll be at 2 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Chairman Blackman, recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ways and Means will be moved to 2 p.m. in 406, still in 406. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That completes our announcements. We have birthdays today. Representative Doreen Carter has a birthday. There she is. And Representative Viola Davis. Where is she? Where is she? There she is to the right on the wall over there. Happy birthday, ladies. All right, if you have a page, you need to come down up front. Let's get some page photos. Majority Leader of this House is recognized for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that this House stand adjourned until Friday, March 20th, 2026 at 10 o'clock a.m.
On the motion of Majority Leader F. Stration that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow, Friday, March 20th, 2026. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed, no. Boy, the ayes are strong. I think the ayes have it. This House stands adjourned. Thank you, members.